Hi guys, welcome back to the series of UX videos. In today's video, we will carry on with the interaction design tools and we will look at the storyboard, sitemaps, and mockups. So first off, storyboards. Storyboards are primarily used to facilitate communication between users and designers, and this is where we have sort of like a story. Try to tell a story using sort of like pictures. You need to have an entire storyline, so you need to have a character, a scene, plot, narrative, and a structure. You should have an obvious beginning, middle, and end, as if you're trying to narrate a story to somebody else. That's how storyboards work basically. And this is an example of a storyboard. So we have a manager announcing a new promotion to his employees, where the requirements are that they need to be proficient in UX design. So Bob goes and he spends his lunchtime trying to search the net, trying to learn more about UX. So his sort of supervisor or another colleague asks, hey Bob, how is your hunt for the promotion going? You don't even join us for lunch anymore. And it's like he's been watching YouTube videos, but they are not really beneficial. That's when Jane tells Bob about UX Active, and she basically says a friend of hers went enrolled for it, and she's been talking about it ever since. And then Bob goes home and he researches all about UX Active, and he sees that he doesn't need any degree, no qualification or skills or experience to enroll. So he loves it already. So he tries and gets himself enrolled for UX Active, and he goes back to work the following day and he gives Jane sort of like a review in a way. It's like, hey Jane, I managed to enroll for the UX Active training course. I start learning right away and at my own pace. You're such a lifesaver, Jane. Thank you so much. So you can see that the story had a clear beginning where the manager was announcing a promotion, and then Bob went and did his own research, and then eventually enrolled for UX Active training certification course basically, and then he registered and he went back and he gave Jane a review. We've already talked about sitemaps in our previous videos when we were talking about the information architecture, but just a reminder, sitemaps shows the relationship and the hierarchical structure of screens and pages, how users will navigate from one page to another, and they form the basis of the interaction design as well, because with the way things are organized and grouped, then the users will be able to know how to interact with the system. They'll be able to know how to get the system to do what they wanted to do. And then next up, we'll look at mockups, and I like to think about mockups as full screens. So we start off with low fidelity, where like you just draw some basic screens on a paper because we want to get people's opinions or the users' opinions and feedback, and then we refine it and then we put it in high fidelity, which is part of the visual design that we'll look at in our next video. But basically mockups are when you try and show the users how your screens are going to look like. You'll start with the basics, just draw like random buttons and stuff on paper, which is low fidelity, and then you move on to high fidelity, where you need to use some design tools or products online like Figma and I think Adobe XD as well. An example of mockup is a paper prototype, which is almost like storyboard of screens, but these are low fidelity hand-drawn versions of the screens. So what happens is you do a very quick hand-drawn version, and we want to visualize the idea, show them very quickly how the screens are going to work, what is going to be in the exact application, how it's going to progress from screen 1 to screen 2, and then you show that to the end users, and then they give you feedback, and then you refine it. The benefit of using paper prototype is that it's cheap and it's quick to make. You can actually like quickly make a minimum viable product, which is an easy way to show or demonstrate to the end user what it is that you are trying to achieve as a designer, and then the end users will try and see if that's something that they would use, if they agree with that or not. So they give you feedback and you refine based on the feedback that you got from the end users. And then the wireframes are basically the high fidelity screens. This is where we use digital products to create or to show how the screens will actually look like. So what you have on the wireframes is exactly how your screens, when you actually start designing your system, should look like. And that's basically it. That was a very short and straightforward video. I hope you guys found it very helpful. And that's actually the end of the interaction design. In our next video, we will start with the visual design, but please don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys when we start talking about the visual design.